So that's really interesting. I want to get your thoughts on this because I'm sure you've heard of Jaime Escalante, another, LA
Sure.
teacher who made a huge impact. And I read how, when he retired, he moved up to up north California. Another teacher took over, but then after that teacher left, the levels of kids passing those calculus exams, it dropped by 80%. It went downhill really fast. But the success rate with Saxon, it's really unique in that it didn't matter who the teacher was. The books really did the work themselves. And I'm sure that the success and the grades only just kept improving. Would you say that's true?
Yes, you mentioned Jaime Escalante, and he taught at Garfield High School. It was not a 9 through 12 high school, it was a 10 through 12 high school. So you really only had them for 3 years, but just got amazing results.
Yes.
And when I was a math specialist teacher in our school district and wasn't just kind of tied to my classroom, I went to Garfield High School to visit him and just to see what he was doing. I mean, I wanted to see how are these people getting these really great results?
Yes.
And he was creating his own content too. I mean, it would have been fabulous for him to tie in with John. And John actually made an effort to do that. But Jaime Escalante, maybe they didn't just see eye to eye or something, but he declined the opportunity, which is too bad. It would have been great to have his materials in print through Saxon Publishers. And then he moved up to, I think, Sacramento area.
Sacramento, yes.
In that
I'm
vicinity.
sure it was two strong personalities, right? That I'm
Yes.
sure would be challenging. But that's interesting. So I didn't know that he was kind of writing his own. That seems to be the recurring theme, right? Is breaking away from those textbooks
Yes, and he would,
creating your own.
he had signed contracts with teachers and with the parents and with his students. He met in a music room, so he had a really big audience. I mean,
Yes.
And they would come in on Saturdays, they'd come in on vacations, because he only had them for 3 years, or actually by the time they took the AP test, maybe only 2.5 years. So he had to cram in a lot of extra time with the students. It's a lot of work to get students to be successful. And it is, how do you package a curriculum that will be effective for a broad spectrum of students? And I think that's one of the secrets of Saxon math too, is that, a lot of really bright kids, mathematically gifted kids, they're probably going to be pretty successful no matter what program you use. But how do you get more? How do you increase the range of students that can be successful?
Yes.
And there's something about the authors that wrote for Saxon Publishers. John Saxon and Nancy Larson and I all had similar experiences in that we worked with students. We had a range of students that we worked with, which included kids that found math difficult. And that's important because if you're mathematically able, then you don't know what's hard. And for example, I frequently refer to, in relating to this, rounding numbers. Let's say $478 is closest to, which $100? Well, to me, it just seems obvious it's closest to $500. It's closer to $500 than it is to $400. That's just simple rounding. That's not simple for some people. I don't know why it's not simple for them. It just seems so obvious to me. And it took me 3 years to finally believe that's a difficult skill. So when students show you over and over what's hard for them, then you try to accommodate them in your writing, in what you're creating for them to work on. So one of the secrets of Saxon math, I think, is that, on this mathematical journey, we put the stepping stones kind of close together so that more students can be successful in that journey instead of, falling because they can't take that big step. It doesn't seem to slow down the bright kids. They can just move along. They're just fine. But we're making accommodations for students that struggle as well. As long as they continue to get their work correct, then
Yes.
they can keep moving.
And I love that because, the reason why I know about High Escalante is because I grew up in Bell near LA. And I went to one of those schools where, and this is why I really appreciate John Saxon in those interviews saying how, it doesn't matter if you have more pigment in your skin, you have the same gray matter, the same capabilities. And, it's easy for maybe teachers to dismiss it, or, we're coming from households where English is not even being spoken. There's no transportation to libraries or cars, but instead of, like you said, dumbing down the curriculum, you're really challenging the kids and bringing them up. And it really does so much for the self-esteem to think I can do it, and you work hard at it. I love that. And I love that approach. And I don't know if it's being approached the same way today, but I think it showed the results. You proved it, back
There's a
then.
video that you played of the 60 Minutes 60 Minutes on John Saxon and the math controversy, the math wars. There's a segment in that video where John Saxon is in Charlie Hodges' calculus classroom in Dallas, Texas. And he puts his hand on the shoulder of an African-American student who's in Charlie's classroom. And this young man's a junior and he's taking calculus. And I don't remember the exact words in that video, but it was to this effect, because John said these words to me on the phone afterwards. This young man is going to complete 2 years of calculus in high school. There's nothing he can't do.
Wow.
So it's the power of achievement, especially in the quantitative disciplines, that just keeps the doors open to a person's future. It's important. And it's the most poignant memory I have of John Saxon, because it tells what he was all about.
Yes. Wow. I'm sure you have a lot of stories like that. I could just listen to them all day because it's really inspiring. And I hope homeschooling parents, sometimes we can get, caught up with the day to day, and it could be overwhelming. And sometimes the emphasis is not so much academic, but sociological. There's a lot of bullying going on. And so this is a good reminder to parents that, yes, the reasons why you're homeschooling, they're all very valid and important. But remember too, we want, like you said, if they can think quantitatively, if they really can do this and problem solve, there's nothing that they can't do. This is a very big challenge, rewarding one that you're undertaking by homeschooling, but we can do it. They can do it. You can do it. And it's very powerful.
Just
right?
hang in there. Yes.
Yes, exactly. So I wanted to talk to you because